In the wild, every attack doesn't begin with speed, but with identifying weaknesses. A lion doesn't charge immediately, but silently observes, maintains its position, and waits for the opportune moment to strike. When the time comes, the attack is swift, precise, and leaves no room for reaction. And it is this brief sequence of actions that determines the outcome of each confrontation. In the open grassland, buffalo maintain safety by moving in herds and keeping a tight formation. Their advantage comes from their coordinated response, creating a multi-directional protective layer. While within this structure, each individual supports the others. But as soon as they leave the formation, the level of protection immediately decreases. Within that movement, an individual begins to slow down and gradually separate from the group. Lions recognize this change and maintain a distance, observing instead of approaching immediately. When favorable conditions arise, they coordinate from multiple directions and gradually tighten the space. Pressure increases progressively, causing the safe distance to quickly disappear. The coordination becomes evident when one buffalo maintains the direction of movement, while another intervenes at the point of imbalance. The buffalo tries to turn its head to react, but its movement rhythm is no longer stable. When constantly pressured from multiple sides, its ability to maintain balance rapidly decreases. The confrontation ends when the initial defensive posture can no longer be maintained. From a continuous series of pressures, the decisive factor lies in the moment of separation from the group. When the collective structure is lost, individual strength is insufficient to sustain defense. And under simultaneous pressure from multiple directions, the outcome is determined in a very short period of time. In the animal world, hyenas maintain their instinct to seize opportunities by approaching quickly and competing for food. This strategy saves energy, but always comes with high risk. When an opportunity arises, they act almost immediately. This very choice gradually leads them into uncontrollable situations. A hyena approaches a food source and quickly leaves upon recognizing signs of danger. Behind them, a lion has begun tracking and maintaining a steady distance. When the right moment arrives, their speed increases significantly and the distance quickly shortens. The hyena is forced to flee under constant pressure. The lion maintains close proximity and gradually reduces the hyena's ability to move effectively. The escape route narrows as the running rhythm becomes unstable. The crucial moment comes when another lion approaches from the opposite direction. From that point on, the space for movement was almost completely locked down, and the chase ended quickly. This was a territorial response, not aimed at hunting. From this sequence of events, the deciding factor lay in location and timing rather than speed. When the direction of movement is controlled, any initial advantage quickly disappears, and in a very short time, the outcome was clearly determined. In arid environments, warthogs maintain safety by using burrows as shelters and reacting quickly to danger. While inside the burrow, it controls the confined space and reduces risk. Its escape reflex helps it handle unexpected situations. However, As external pressure increases and forces it to leave its shelter, this advantage quickly diminishes and turns into a disadvantage. Recognizing this, the lion locates the burrow and maintains a distance to observe instead of approaching directly. The pressure created from the outside forces the warthog to leave its burrow. As soon as prey appears, the lion accelerates rapidly and closes the distance quickly. The pressure is concentrated precisely at the moment of transition. The moment of approach occurs before the warthog has had time to stabilize its movement. The open space loses its footing, and the safe distance is no longer maintained. The confrontation ends quickly when the advantage from the burrow is gone. The outcome is determined the moment the prey leaves its hiding place. From this transitional state, the deciding factor lies in controlling both space and time. Once the hiding place is gone, all reactions become passive, and within a very short period, the outcome is clearly defined. In open spaces, giraffes maintain safety thanks to their wide field of vision and the ability to defend themselves with their hind legs. Their close-range kicks generate significant force, forcing opponents to keep their distance. While maintaining their pace, they effectively control their approach. However, as pressure builds, energy expenditure increases noticeably. When exhaustion sets in, a young lion approaches early and attempts to close the gap prematurely. A direct defensive response forces the giraffe to retreat and adjust its pace. The pride then doesn't immediately accelerate, but maintains distance, observing and continuously applying pressure. The distance gradually narrows over time. When the giraffe's pace begins to slow, an adult lion joins in at the right moment. Pressure is then concentrated on more effective approaches, causing the giraffe's ability to maintain distance to rapidly diminish. From that point on, the situation turned unfavorable, and the confrontation ended quickly. The decisive moment lay in the attrition phase, not in the initial approach. From the established state of decline, the key factor was the timing and extent of energy expenditure. When the ability to maintain the rhythm was lost, all defense mechanisms became significantly less effective, and only after a controlled series of pressures could the outcome be determined in a clear direction. Near the water's edge, the crocodile maintains an advantage by keeping a very short distance and reacting quickly in its familiar environment. While in contact with water, it controls its position well and is difficult to approach from multiple directions. However, once it leaves this environment, its ability to adjust diminishes, and the distance becomes disadvantageous. This change silently creates a chain reaction of weaknesses. In this disadvantageous state, a crocodile becomes trapped on dry land, making movement slow and difficult to adjust. Lions begin to appear from various directions, maintaining a steady pace and observing the reaction. As the distance narrows, the pressure increases progressively. The crocodile gradually loses its ability to maintain its previous position. The lion's coordinated efforts continue to push the situation further into disadvantage for the crocodile. When the situation changes, control is almost lost. That moment marks the end of the confrontation. This is not typical predatory behavior, but rather a consequence of losing environmental advantage. From the series of state changes that just occurred, the determining factors lie in the environment and timing. When the initial conditions are gone, all defense mechanisms rapidly diminish, and in a very short period of time, the outcome is clearly defined. Gazelles are among the fastest gazelles on the savanna, but their advantage is built in bursts of acceleration. Once they have enough momentum, they can reach 50 to 56 miles per hour and maintain a safe distance. However, in the first few seconds, this speed isn't fully developed. This short transitional period creates a clear weakness. Recognizing this, the lion keeps its body low and observes at close range, not rushing to approach. When the gazelle begins to run but hasn't reached its maximum speed, the lion accelerates briefly to close the gap. Pressure builds up as the prey's pace stabilizes. The safe distance disappears with each step. The moment of approach comes before the gazelle reaches its survival speed. The escape route isn't fully formed, and the ability to maintain distance is gone. The chase ends quickly before the speed advantage can take effect. The outcome is determined during that transitional phase. In the vast savanna, the impala maintains safety through its wide-ranging observation and quick, leaping reflexes. Its acceleration and changes of direction allow it to keep its distance from threats at close range. When focused, it maintains relatively stable control of its escape route. However, when attention is diverted, its reaction time slows and the risk increases. In a confrontation between two males, attention is entirely focused on competition. The lion maintains distance, observing and waiting for the right moment, not rushing to approach. When a clear moment of distraction arises, it accelerates and closes the distance in a very short time. Pressure builds precisely when the prey is no longer fully aware of its environment. The moment of approach occurs before the impala has had time to establish its escape route. The safe distance disappears, and the rhythm of movement is no longer maintained. The attack ends quickly when the passive state is not reversed. The outcome is determined at the moment of distraction. On the African plains, zebras maintain safety through early detection and quick group response. While maintaining distance, they can change direction and retaliate with powerful kicks from their hind legs. Coordination within the herd reduces risk from threats. However, when reaction time slows, the safe distance quickly disappears. A single zebra fails to recognize a danger at close range, allowing a lion to approach undetected. When the distance is short enough, the lion accelerates and closes in a very short time. The zebra tries to resist by turning and using its hind legs. but the pressure isn't limited to one direction. Another lion joins in at the right moment, shifting the situation from a single confrontation to pressure from multiple sides. The zebra's ability to maintain position diminishes rapidly as it has to react continuously. The confrontation ends when the initial distance and rhythm of movement are lost. The outcome is determined as soon as the situation changes. From this sequence of events, the deciding factor lies in the ability to detect early and maintain distance. When approached too closely, all reactions become passive. And when pressure comes from multiple directions simultaneously, the outcome is shaped in a very short time. In each approach, the most important factor is not speed, but timing. The lion maintains observation, keeps its distance, and only acts when the conditions are right. When the opportunity arises, the attack is brief and decisive, and it is this precision that determines the entire outcome.
On the African savanna, every encounter unfolds in a very different way, depending on the time, terrain, and the state of each species. There is no preset scenario for predator or prey, only instinct and reactions triggered in a fleeting moment. For hyenas, each situation is a continuous test, where they observe, approach, and wait for the opportune moment to act. African wild dogs are pack-hunting predators, small in stature but with great stamina. An adult typically weighs between 55 and 70 pounds, giving them no advantage in a direct confrontation. Their effectiveness depends on speed and continuous coordination. After securing their share of the prey from the leopard, the pack of wild dogs hadn't even settled into position when two hyenas appeared. They quickly closed in, forcing the wild dogs to retreat from the center of the food source. One hyena maintained distance to control its reaction, while the other focused on consuming the prey. As other hyenas arrived, competition erupted within the pack itself, revealing a clear social hierarchy. The wild dogs repeatedly tried to approach, but were unsuccessful. Faced with the hyena's incredibly strong jaws, capable of handling even hard bones, the pack of wild dogs was forced to retreat. The struggle ended quickly, demonstrating the hyena's clear advantage in such prey-stealing situations. Cheetahs are renowned predatory cats, known for their speed, slender build, and quick attack tactics. An adult female typically weighs between 75 and 120 pounds and relies heavily on open space to avoid conflict. When a cub is nearby, the cheetah's priorities shift. Immediately after the cheetah has subdued its prey, a hyena appears from behind and approaches. Under normal circumstances, the cheetah would choose to leave to avoid risk. However, this time the cub is right behind, leaving no room for retreat. The mother cheetah proactively advances, maintaining a short distance and applying direct pressure. This aggressive reaction slows the hyena down and then stops completely. After only a few moments, the hyena is forced to retreat from the area. The confrontation ended quickly. The hyena gained no advantage, and the cheetah kept its cubs safe. In nature, when forced into a protective role, even the weaker species can prevail. Leopards are solitary, agile predators that rely heavily on surprise. An adult typically weighs between 90 and 140 pounds, enough to take down prey larger than itself. The leopard's advantage lies in its ability to quickly gain control of space. As the leopard settles near its food source, two hyenas appear at the edge of the area. They don't immediately approach, but move slowly, gradually closing the distance. The pressure increases with each movement, forcing the leopard to move away from the center to avoid a direct confrontation.
He doesn't see it.
The leopard doesn't leave completely. It maintains its distance and observes, waiting for the hyenas to lose focus. However, in reality, hyenas have the upper hand in about 70% of prey fights with leopards. Each time the leopard attempted to get closer again, the hyenas reacted immediately, quickly ending the attempt. The tension persisted, but the situation remained unchanged. The hyenas continued to maintain control of the area thanks to their numbers and ability to sustain constant pressure. In these kinds of prey fights, the advantage belongs to the species that can stay present longer and react more quickly. Lions are large cats with superior strength, heavy bodies, and quick reflexes. A mature male lion can weigh up to 570 pounds, nearly 5 times the weight of a single hyena. Under normal circumstances, its mere presence is enough to keep other species at a safe distance. In the open areas near the edge of the savanna, that advantage is gradually challenged. A lone male lion finds itself surrounded by more than 30 hyenas. The hyenas don't all attack at once, but constantly move around, closing in and retreating in short bursts, maintaining pressure and forcing the lion to remain on high alert for an extended period. The lion stands firm. It rotates with each movement, maintaining a stable defensive posture. When a hyena ventures too close, the reaction is instantaneous. The lion counterattacked briefly, forcing the individual hyena to break free from the encirclement. Other hyenas advanced to support, but lacked the necessary coordination to reverse the situation. tension gradually eased as the lion began a controlled retreat. It may have suffered physical losses, but it maintained its position and avoided chaos. The encounter ended without absolute dominance. In nature, numbers alone do not guarantee success without decisive coordination and a willingness to take risks. Wildebeest are large, herbivorous animals that move in herds and maintain a high level of alertness. A mature female typically weighs over 400 pounds and is capable of reacting very quickly to threats. When a young one appears, the mother wildebeest's entire behavior is focused on protection. The moment a young wildebeest lags behind the herd, the hyena immediately pursues and closes the gap. However, before the pressure escalates, the mother wildebeest turns and heads straight toward the predator. The reaction is swift and decisive, leaving the hyena no chance to continue. The chase ends almost instantly. The hyena retreats to avoid further risk, and the young wildebeest quickly returns to its mother. The herd continues moving as if nothing had happened. The encounter concludes with a clear outcome. The hyena fails, and the mother wildebeest keeps her young. In nature, maternal instinct is one of the strongest responses, powerful enough to force a predator to stop. Zebras are large, strong herbivores that rely on speed to maintain a safe distance. A mature individual can weigh over 700 pounds and is only truly safe when it can maintain a steady pace. When that ability is disrupted, the balance quickly shifts. A hind leg injury significantly slows the zebra. Its rhythm is broken, and the hyenas begin approaching from multiple directions, alternating between closing in and maintaining distance to maintain pressure. As more individuals arrive, the safe space shrinks, and the zebra's ability to defend itself diminishes moment by moment. The attack ends quickly. The zebra is no longer able to escape the pressure, and the hyenas gain a clear advantage. In the wild, when prey loses its ability to move, hyenas' persistence and collective pressure make them particularly effective. On the vast savanna, the buffalo herd moves in tight order, each individual maintaining their familiar position. The calf is always positioned in the center of the formation, where the adults can observe and react promptly. The mother buffalo silently follows, acting as a protector when danger arises. When a calf slows down for a moment, the hyena immediately notices and attempts to close in. The distance narrows rapidly, creating clear pressure on the vulnerable calf. At that moment, the mother buffalo turns and charges directly at the predator with a decisive reaction. The sudden change causes the hyena to stop and retreat instantly. The chase ends before it escalates, and the calf quickly returns to the safe formation beside its mother. The situation concludes in silence. The hyena fails to achieve its objective, and the buffalo herd continues its steady rhythm. In nature, a mother's timely response is often enough to end a threat in its inception. Honey badgers are small, solitary animals that often move close to the ground. Their thick, tough skin and agile bodies help them withstand external pressure. From the outset, honey badgers don't seek to display strength, but rely on endurance and self-preservation. When several hyenas appear and form a circle, the tension increases with each movement. The honey badger remains in place, constantly turning to face the nearest threat, blocking all approaches. These attempts to get closer yield no clear results, and the hyena's advantage begins to diminish. The confrontation continues in silence before finally ending. The hyenas spread out and retreated, abandoning their ineffective attempt. The honey badger remained in the area, and the situation concluded in a familiar way. Becoming an unappealing target is sometimes the safest path to survival. On the African savanna, hyenas don't survive because of overwhelming strength, but because of their ability to adapt to specific circumstances. In each encounter, they assess the risks, test their opponent's reaction, and choose the right moment to advance or retreat. In the natural world, this is how a species not at the top of the power chain can maintain its enduring presence over time.